welcome to Edison Open House Transport Futures 2021. In this session, we're focusing on the work of the Schaltbau Group, which includes a number of mechanical and engineering companies working in the automotive and rail industries. With me is its CEO, Jürgen Brandes, and its CFO, Stefan Muntz. Hello to you both.
Hello, how are you?
Good, I'm good. So I know that the Schaltbau Group includes quite a range of companies. So tell me what kind of companies you've got and what they do and why they are so critical to this future transport.
Yeah, Schaltbau is existing for over 90 years, mostly in the rail industry, and we are now transferring part of the engineering competencies into the new mobility, but also new industry and new energy. Our basis is for the rolling stock area, the entry systems. Then we are very strong in the rail infrastructure sector. And last not least, we are providing electromechanical components for switching energy, and this technology have a wide spread of application both in the rail sector, but most growing in the area of new industry, new energy, and e-mobility.
Now explain to me why these switching and connectors that you produce are so critical to electric transportation.
Absolutely. Batteries is a strong energy source, but you want to make sure that you are able to separate the batteries from the rest if there is an accident or you want to work on these electrical equipment. And therefore, you have to establish a gap, an air gap between the batteries and the rest of the electrical equipment. And you are doing this with connectors. And we have connectors not only for small amps, but really for kilo amps, thousands of amps. And this is a powerful mechanism in order to ensure safety and availability in these kind of applications.
So we often forget, we talk about these big things, we talk about cars and planes and everything else, but actually without this type of engineering, that future can't happen. Is that right?
Absolutely. And everybody is talking about power, is talking about new energy storage, but the real technology is all about safety. And so our mechanical switch are ensuring safety not only 90 years ago when we were starting in the railway industry, but also now when electrical energy storages are being used on vehicles, on the road, etc.
So Stefan, do you expect, having heard that you're shifting from rail to automotive, you're obviously expecting the automotive part of your businesses to grow, but what are your growth expectations? Is rail no longer a growth industry, for instance, or is it still growing?
The good news is that both the segments, so one, the legacy, the core business, the rail business is growing, but modestly growing. And more exciting is the DC power or the e-mobility business, which is growing significantly faster. But before we talk about the growth pattern of the business, which is also exciting, our focus is to improve the financial performance of the company, which is currently lacking behind our peers. So first and foremost, we will focus on the financial performance, which includes profitability, capital returns, and cash generation. Then secondly, we expect to grow at a CAGR of 8% over the next years from 2020 to 2026. Again, with a modest growth in the rail and the core business, we expect to grow there between 4 to 6% per year, which is more than 2 times faster than the underlying rail markets. And again, the exciting piece of the story is that our DC power business, which includes all the applications we talked about, including e-mobility, will grow at a clear double-digit rate. So this altogether leads that we will grow the company at a CAGR of 8%, and we target a revenue of 750 to 800 million at the latest by 2026.
And Stefan, how do you see the competitive landscape changing in these different segments over the next few years?
So first of all, on the rail side, the rail industry is a quite consolidated industries, both on the customer side, but also on the supplier side. And this is relevant for both market sectors we are playing in, for the rail infrastructure side, but also for the rolling stock infrastructure side. And what is even more exciting is how the market will develop in the DC power side, because this is a quite new market that is currently evolving. And there are two kind of competitor sets. So startup companies. So good news is we are not a startup company. We have a well-proven technology since more than 90 years. And here we see two trends. First of all, we see the legacy players that are already in the market, but they have an inferior technology. And we see us coming from the rail business, rail industry, which has since 90 years really a robust DC-proven technology. And what we're doing with our technology from the rail sector, we're just transferring into this new exciting markets. And we believe we have a competitive advantage in terms of robustness, energy efficiency, and also to handle high power and high voltages.
So Jürgen, if you would, explain for some of our retail investors what the significance of direct current power is.
Sure. When you see a rail car in the city, it has only one overhead line to get all the power. And this is only possible with direct current. So a current that only flows in one direction. If you are just switching direct current, you normally have a huge arc, a lightning, which need to be handled carefully. And our company is doing this in rail cars for over 90 years. Secondly, it is important, a car has a lot of vibration, and the lifetime of a car should at least be 20 years. So this product needs to be very robust against mechanical stress, but also should have a lifetime of 20 years and above. Now, thinking about electric mobility, in the past, they had all these internal combustion engines, and now the exhausts of a vehicle, especially in downtown areas, but also the discussion about carbon footprint leads now to the battery-based technology, which is also direct current. So now we are shifting the technology from rail into the e-mobility sector. Now, what is everybody thinking about e-cars? These are tiny little cars nobody's really thinking about to buy. But now in the meantime, with much stronger batteries, you see almost a lot of luxury car even becomes on the part of the road traffic, but also commercial vehicles are becoming electrical more and more. And this leads to much higher power ratings. And this makes our company even more important, because the number of companies who can switch high currents is very limited.
That's a really helpful overview. Thank you for that. And that leads me to ask you both, what do you think the future of transport will look like? Let's start with you, Stefan.
Yeah, so I believe the future of transportation is a mix of carbon-free, collective, and also individual transport. It's comfortable, it's affordable, it's easy to use, it's highly flexible, and most important, it's also environmentally friendly. So mobility with no side effects. And this is, so for me, the vision of the future of transportation. So Jürgen, maybe you share your view on the future of transportation as well.
Absolutely. We need to distinguish between short distance and long distance traffic. the very long distance traffic, we might see probably airplanes with artificial fuel. But already when you are driving from city to city, I think rail traffic becomes a very important traffic mode compared to the air traffic. But you will also see rail cars in downtown area, metro systems are available, even streetcars are available, but nobody really thought about a pandemic. So people will think about, is it for me healthy enough to stay in a train, or will I more use my individual car? And here's also a trend changing. Young people don't think about owning a car. Sharing a car is also an interesting subject. And when you think about public transportation, you can even think about new concepts of automated vehicle that are not running on a clear time schedule, but they are really being running when a customer is asking for. But those kind of individual traffic will also be electrical, as it will all the trains are running on electrical basis. So the common denominator is carbon footprint zero. And this means electrical driven vehicle. And this means finally using fuel cells, batteries, or things like that. And this is all DC power, which finally our company will benefit from.
Now, you're a company, or your group of companies, that are now very focused on things which have a very strong environmental benefit. And this incorporation, I guess, of ESG strategy is one that's particularly important to you. But take me through how it's affecting, for instance, your investors. Is your ESG policy something that your investors are now asking, Stefan?
Yeah, so this topic is becoming more and more an important topic. So I think it's changing from being what I call, in brackets, kind of a marketing gag to a really serious topic. There are more and more investors. They require kind of an ESG rating or a sufficient ESG rating. Otherwise, they are not able to invest. Independent how interesting the story is. So also independent of the ESG rating, I think it's more the purpose of the company and what we're doing since 90 years, coming from the rail business, which is a environmentally friendly general industry, and where we're going towards the e-mobility, which is even more environmentally friendly. So we are well positioned to be really a kind of a ESG positioned company. And we're doing a lot in terms of ESGs, and where we will focus going forward is doing more on the reporting side. So tell more about the good things that you are doing. And this is exactly what the rating agencies are doing. They're just pulling information that you are publishing, and they're putting all informations together, and then this provides the basis for an ESG rating. So, and our target is really also to be a best-in-class ESG rated company in all dimensions.
I mean, there's a strong push in Germany, isn't there, Jürgen, on ESG. What are your 3 ESG priorities?
First of all, we are using our own technology also in a stationary use case. We are building a new factory for the contactors in the Bavarian area, and our new factory will have solar panels on the roof. And we want to use this energy for our own purpose. But in order to have this renewable energy, not only when it's available, but throughout the day, we have strong energy storages in the basement. And then we are using a DC connectivity between the robots, between the logistics center, with this energy storage via DC connectivity. And so this is also a future of new carbon-less or even carbon-free production side, which counts into the ESG story. So first priority is we want to be carbon-free as soon as possible. The second topic is our social governance. We are really providing a workplace that really is attractive for engineers who are involved in technologies that help the environment, but also the people who are working in our shop floor have particularly good conditions in terms of lighting, in terms of intelligent use cases they are working on. And last not least, we also try to be having a balance between different social groups, gender, religions, all these things. It's very important that we are being seen as a very open company from that respect. And last not least, compliance is very high on top of our ethic basis. And let me say this, coming from Siemens, we know how important it is to have a company culture that really from A to Z is 100% future oriented, but on a very strong ethic basis.
Final question for you both. What is it that you're most proud of in terms of developing a sustainable business and contributing to a sustainable future? What will you say to your kids? This is what Daddy did for you. Stefan, let's start with you.
Yes, so we're making sure that we create and transform the company to a company that is really helping to shape the future of the society. And the future of the society in our purpose is kind of a future of the rail and also future of mobility. And this is really what we are driving. And besides that, we are an ESG exposed company. What we're doing is not only that we're helping that kind of industries, we're also itself a good company. And this is really where I'm proud of. Jürgen, what is your view on that one?
I do believe in decentralized energy sources based on renewable energy. This can only be used in conjunction with energy storages like batteries in many use cases, from traffic into stationary use cases. And I tell not only my kids, even my grandkids, I'm helping you to have a world to live in where energy comes from finally the sun and not anymore from burning coal, and to help our world becoming more and more carbonless. Schaltbau is a very important link in this carbon-free industry.
Well, I hope they're impressed by their dad and granddad. I think Schaltbau is such an interesting company, and it's so easy, isn't it, to overlook those companies which actually provide the critical underpinning for the transport futures of tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.